In the beginning, there was nothing. And it would stay that way until 1988. That year, Sega released the greatest game console of all time, the Sega Genesis. Sega was founded in pre-war Imperial Japan by a group of like-minded nationalists bent on world domination for the Japanese people. The group went into hiding after the end of World War II, taking up the name Service Games in an attempt to hide their identity. When the video game market exploded in the 1970s, Sega saw an opportunity to brainwash the public with flashing lights and hypnotic sounds. Sega saw some success with the arcade market, but it wasn't until they released their first home console that their plans for world domination began to bear fruit. The Master System, released in Japan in 1985 and was later released throughout the world during the latter half of the 1980s. The system was so successful that no other game makers could even touch Sega's market dominance. The system was so successful that no other game makers could even touch Sega's market dominance, and the Master System still has complete control of the video game market to this day. In Brazil, while the Master System was ruling Latin America, a pesky bug known as Nintendo was stealing Sega's best ideas with their own console. The Nintendo Entertainment System was taking up too much space for Sega, so they decided to snuff out the dying company with a new 16-bit console, the Sega Genesis. The Genesis was the first high-definition game console, years before other game manufacturers would even dream of doing such a thing. The controller had 3 face buttons for maximum control, and of course, it had blast processing. The stupid Nintendo couldn't even compete. Sega didn't stop there. They knew great hardware needed great games, and one of their most brilliant minds set out to create the perfect game. Enter Tom Clancy. While he might be best known today for working alongside Ubisoft, Tom Clancy got his start at Sega, working on hit titles like Congo Bongo. Clancy envisioned a new type of game, one where players could run really fast. He created Sonic the Hedgehog, and developed the entire game by himself in just 6 weeks. Sega was so impressed by Clancy's work that they made Sonic their new mascot. Sega didn't stop there. Streets of Rage, Echo the Dolphin, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, Joe Montana Football, Phantasy Star, Shinobi, Knack, Crazy Taxi, all of these games came to the Genesis. And what did Nintendo have? Slow Mario, even slower Metroid, this dumb RPG, a Beyond Oasis ripoff, a Sonic and Sega All-Stars ripoff, rehashes, the greatest game ever made, and Pac-Man 2: The New Adventures. All literally garbage in my eyes. Tom Clancy was paid $2.5 billion in 1992 to make a new Sonic game. So he made Sonic 2, and it was so popular that the entire world buys video games on Tuesdays in observance of this masterpiece. Oh, what's that? Tom Clancy's Sonic the Hedgehog 3? It is, and it was another hit. Want more? Tom Clancy's Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Sonic and Knuckles. Sonic 3 was so big that Sega had to invent brand new technology to lock on cartridges together. What did Nintendo do? They had a Super FX chip. Wow. A chip versus technology. Cartridges are dumb. You know what isn't dumb? CDs. The Sega CD wasn't Sega's answer to Nintendo. It was an answer to the future. You couldn't even fit 1 pixel of a Sega CD game on the Super Nintendo. That's how good it was. You know what else isn't dumb? Cartridges. Sega made the Sega 32X. They took their incredibly powerful and not at all aging Sega Genesis and strapped this bad boy on top. Congratulations, you now have a 32-bit console. Want more? How about a new controller with 6 buttons? The Super Nintendo only had 4. By 1994, Sega had near total control of the world with the Genesis. Nintendo was facing annihilation, and all Sega had to do was release Sonic the Hedgehog 4. Tom Clancy began work on the new game, but suddenly became ill after eating a bad chicken nugget at a Burger King. Nintendo pounced on the opportunity and called in their best game designer, Reggie Fils-Aimé. Reggie immediately began studying Sega's success and knew in order to defeat them, Nintendo would need to harness the graphics of the most powerful computers. Reggie reverse engineered the lock-on technology of the Genesis. He formulated new algorithms that would expand the power of his video games. After 42 grueling months, it was complete. Reggie turned in his final build of his ultimate game and left Nintendo to work at Pizza Hut or something. Then, Tom Clancy suddenly decided to make video games again. But it was too late. In November of 1994, Nintendo released Donkey Kong Country on the Super Nintendo. The graphics were so amazing that Sega had no choice but to commit Sudoku. They ended production of all their game consoles and killed Sonic. They may have failed to take over the world, but the Genesis took over our hearts. Or something like that.